And the cybersecurity breach is raising a lot of questions on how it could have happened. It's happened before, and whether anyone will ever be held accountable. Let's bring in Morgan Wright. He's a cybersecurity analyst and a senior fellow for the Center for Digital Government. Thank you so much for being with us, Morgan.
Hey, you bet, guys.
It's one after another. I've seen this before. I've reported on it before, and it raised a question for me this time. It looks like they picked employees that had security clearances, and there's some speculation that the reason they would want these identities, many of them, is to at some point perhaps blackmail them into giving them secure information. Could there be any other reason?
You know, there's a lot of reasons, and as I found out later, too, is that we all found out the story was breaking. I used to hold a security clearance. My information is in this same database that was also hosted by the Department of Interior, their Interior Business Center. So, yeah, when you start talking about espionage and you start looking at all the things, it's not one thing, it's the collection of all this information that starts giving you insight into the policies, the practices, how they make decisions, what their weaknesses are. So I'm very concerned. It's not just OPM. Department of Interior hosted many federal agencies, including Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration.
Yeah,
so this
let me put up a full screen. I'm so glad you brought that up, because we took a look at not all of them, but just some of the agencies that have been impacted by this breach and by others. Right. You know, I travel the country now and I meet people who are worried about their personal information being stolen when they go to Target or Walmart or some other establishment. But it's much bigger than that. It's not just Social Security numbers, phone numbers, addresses, and money. This is potentially a mode for attack, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Where's it going?
It contains... It's got financial data. Where's it going is that we keep having these attacks. There's no accountability, both on the government side. Nobody's being held accountable for these attacks. We hold military combatant commanders responsible for the actions of their troops. We don't hold countries accountable. We tried to name and shame North Korea. That really didn't accomplish anything. We indicted 5 members of Unit 61398. That still doesn't accomplish anything until there's true accountability on both sides. Where this is going is it's going to keep getting worse before it even remotely even starts to get better.
Well, we know it could affect power grids. It could affect banking institutions. Yes. I'm not giving away information that terrorists don't know already. I'm very careful not to do that. But every time I visit the Pentagon, they want me to see their cybersecurity setup. Right. It's not much that I can talk about, but they're on it. I don't know what the allocation of funds is, but it's not something we're ignoring. Are we making any progress?
Look, we are, but the problem is we're the good guys. We always fight with one hand tied behind our back. We're constrained by rules that others don't constrain themselves to, like China, like Russia, like North Korea, like Iran. They attack targets and infrastructure that we can kind of consider off limits. So it is a policy issue. We definitely have the technical capability to take out things. China is just 1 or 2 hacks away from taking down their power grid. They're not the most secure power grid in the world. The fact that it hasn't happened yet is kind of, interesting. We'll see what happens there.
Well, let me ask you this last question, if I can, because I'm up against a break. If this has happened and we know about these, how many have we thwarted?
You know, that's hard to tell, because this attack was allowed to go on for 5 months before it was discovered. You know, a report that came out, Symantec, said targeted attacks have increased 40%. So this has been gone on for a long time. The real question is, how many haven't we heard about? I think that's where the real big answer needs some questioning on.
Yeah, I would seriously ask people to check for all security measures to protect their information and be aware of this issue. It's our tax dollars at work, and it's an important way to spend our money. Thank you so much. We definitely want to hear from our viewers on this one. How concerned are you about this massive government data breach? Even our guest even said he's part of that data bank. Our live chat is up and running. All you have to do is go to foxnews.com/happeningnow. Please do join the conversation.